Good evening, everyone. And I'm so glad and so honored that all of you could make it for this evening. Some of my friends have actually traveled from, different cities and are here. My school teachers are here for the launch. My ex-bosses are here. I am meeting few people after 10, 20 years of gap, but all have gathered together for the occasion and I'm honored. Thank you so much. A soliloquy is indeed very special to me. It has been crafted by my soul. Writing a book, I believe, is not an easy task. It requires a lot of patience, perseverance, and is not everyone's cup. I believe people who can write are born with this talent. And I've never considered myself a part of this gifted community. However, in hindsight, I also feel that writing can also be healing. It can become a need, a necessity. And that's what happened with me. It became my only therapy. I lost my mother a year and a couple of months ago. And my mom meant the world to me. She was the anchor of my life. So with her sudden demise, I went through, inappropriate grief. And no conventional therapy could be of help to me. And when I could not contain all that emotion within, I started pouring out on my diary. And grief and we partnered. And it no longer stayed as a separate entity. We became one. Of course, transitioning from writing a diary to writing a book required mustering up a lot of courage. But once I did that, it became my only objective. This book is a dedication to my parents, who are no longer a part of this physical realm. So quite naturally, my interest also moved towards other realms. I grew closer to death, and my understanding over a passage of time about death and life went through a metamorphosis, where on the one hand, my consciousness evaded me. I found it challenging to accomplish very mundane activities of the day. But on the other hand, there was another development that was taking place. My interaction with my subconscious was getting stronger. It led me to certain experiences which are otherwise not very frequent. In fact, during this duration of writing the book, this journey of mine, I felt I received a few prophetic messages. There were synchronicities all around me. I felt I was divinely guided, because I have written about things at length which I did not even know existed. And yeah, a soliloquy, Inked in Tears, is a monologue. And therefore, it is not directed towards anyone specific. It is for all those who are seeking answers. Thank you, audience, for your love and patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Chetna. Am I audible? Yes. Thank you. So on behalf of Chetna and entire family, again, thank you all for taking time off on a Sunday and in this blistering heat of Delhi. Okay. So, but I'll take this occasion also to welcome a few special guests that we have amongst us. So it's my It's my pleasure and privilege to first ask Mr. Raman Roy sir to please be on the stage. Mr. Raman Roy is fondly referred to as the father of Indian BPO industry. He has been instrumental over the past 30 years. Sir, please be here. He has been instrumental over the past 30 years in shaping the global outsourcing space and proving that India can be a preferred location of remote processing. Raman is a pioneer 4 times over, having successfully led outsourcing initiatives as CEO of American Express, Genpact, Spectra Mind before starting Quattro. He sits on the Venture Capital Investment Committee of SEDBI, Board of Investment India, Thai Delhi NCR chapter, and he is also co-founder and member of Indian Angels Network. Sir, welcome.
Thank you very much.
I would also like to invite on the stage Mr. Rajdatta, sir, please. I can have you. Mr. Rajdatta is a very successful career spanning over 33 years, as he was the first CFO of Genpact, CFO of Spectra Mind, Executive Director of Quadro Global Services, and Director and Investor of Stratamis HR Technologies and SyncPay FinTech. Thank you, sir, for being here.
Thank you.
And I would also now like to invite Mr. Alok Narayan, sir. Mr. Narayan is in a career spanning 30 years, is a tall leader in domain of HR and training in manufacturing, engineering, BPM, hospital industry. Interestingly, he was a professor at PUSA before he started his corporate career journey. He has held very senior positions as head of training in Oberoi, Bharti Cellular Convergys, and EVP and CHR of Quattro Global Service. Thank you, sir, for being here.
वापस लेने का थोड़ी He gave it so that he could take it back.
Yeah.
You come in with
May I request the book be unveiled, please? Thank you.
Congratulations, Chetna.
If I also may now request our guests here to say a few words.
No, I don't want to bore you, but you know what Chetna brought out, what she went through on the passing of her mother. And ever since then, it's been in my mind. I was very close to my mother, and I lost her through Alzheimer's, which means there was a time she recognized me, and then there was a time she recognized only me and nobody else, and then there was a time she didn't even recognize me. And one had to take the decision to get her off the life-saving, whatever, the equipment that the hospital puts. So when she said she underwent grief, I could relate to that. But how she internalized it and went on to another level, to me it was fascinating to just see what someone could take it and make something out of it. And she told me that she has stories here, and she said that also right now, of things that she thought she didn't know and she had never experienced. And when she told me that, I thought of various people that I have met who said that they got wisdom through being enlightened, like Buddha did many years ago, and some people said that, and to have somebody go through that was for me fascinating. So I tried in my own way to say कि वो किताब भेज दो, but it didn't kind of, the hook didn't happen. And she kind of said, when you come, you take it. मैं कहा, मैं आऊँगा तो सही, पर वो भेज दो ना. So that didn't happen. So now I'm going to get her to autograph this, and I will go through some of the things and learn and live through whatever she lived through. And she puts it here inked in tears, and death came upon both of us. I'm left to meet her yet, this time forever. It's something that is, ever since she mentioned this, it's been haunting me to get my hands on the book and read it. So congratulations on the launch and all the very best. Thank you, folks. Thanks for hearing me and not chucking me out before I finish. Thank you.
Mr. Datta, may I request you also to share your views?
So this afternoon is about Chetna. And I'm glad we are all talking about you, Chetna. No other way. Chetna and I used to be in not necessarily frequent, but often touch when Chetna was looking after her mom, nursing her mom, going through those difficult days, difficult moments of the day. There are times when I would be speaking to Siddharth on calls, and then would be Chetna at the back. And something that always used to strike me was the dedication with which Chetna went through the phase. All of us had parents, all of us have parents, all of us have looked after our parents, will look after our parents as well. But there was something different I always used to tell my wife in the way Chetna is going through the experience and how she has dedicated herself to a cause. And it doesn't happen unless there is a different kind of calling from inside. The calling which I don't think every ordinary person has. And the calling which is to say, this is not just about mom, this is not just about that. This is about something inside Chetna which is making her do it for her mom. And again, every time I would speak to her when our mom was alive but going through those situations, it used to give me a feeling that this is not an ordinary relationship we are talking of, and this is not an ordinary the experience that we are talking of. This is different. Did I expect that difference to come out into a book? Chetna, no. The way I saw it, it will take you a few years to overcome. But the fact that you have used the mode of writing to not necessarily overcome, but to deal with it and then help bring things out from inside, I haven't seen anyone else do it that way. So it's a labor of love in a way, but it's also, I'm looking at it as a work of inner art. It's rare. It's not easy for people to express themselves in the way that I haven't yet read it, so I will say she would have done here, so she must have done here. But to me, it's a rare theme, it's a rare book. And like all of you, I look forward to reading this to get that sense of what's in you, inside you, that got you to write this, Chetna. So congratulations, all the best. And for all the conversations that we have had, I'll be reflecting on them when I read this. Thank you. Thank you for this.
Mr. Narayan, if I may also invite you to stage to say a few words.
Chetna, heartiest congratulations. And thank you for including me and including all of us in this moment. That's what I would say. And I'm recalling, some of the moments that we spoke about your mother. And I always felt that with the kind of closeness and proximity that you had, and not that all of us don't have that proximity and closeness and love for our parents, but clearly it was something special because it was a life, I would say, dedicated. Almost in some ways, you were consumed by that love. Is what I used to feel every time there was a conversation. There weren't many of those though. And I recall the moment when we met. This is soon after the loss that you and the rest of the family had. And that's what really I was going through. And then it's almost like, call it I think recovery is a very, it doesn't quite do justice to what you've done. But in a way, clearly it is a manifestation and it's bringing out, I think, all that you felt, I think, through your life. Again, I think, I don't know about the book, but once get to read it, obviously there will be something more to share, with you after having gone through it. But once again, congratulations. In conclusion, I'll say that, the act of writing, I've only read about it, that it is not easy. I've read about and I've read authors who've spoken about or written about writing and how when they say that, it's maybe requires a lot of discipline, requires rigor, it's almost like you've got to be with it. It may take years to even come out with, one work. So that also, the sort of effort, rigor, discipline to be just doing that is also something which is so highly extraordinary. So congratulations once again, and I'm sure in times to come, we'll see Chetna, the author. There will be more works that will be coming from Chetna, so wish you all the best for that as well. Thank you.
It's also my privilege to welcome on stage our esteemed guest, Shri Pankaj Kumar Singh, ex-Director General of DSF, IPS officer of died in 1988 batch, and he's the Deputy National Security Advisor of India. Sir, thank you for taking your time out for this.
One thing I'd like to mention is that Sir is my college senior. We're from the same college, Hindu. And yes. And Sir, can you like you to just share a few words, please? Please, sir.
I mean, you don't normally take people with that kind of surprise. Chetna did call me up about a week back and said that the first thing she started was, I'm from Hindu and you're from Hindu. So, well, with that kind of a chord, the defenses go down absolutely and immediately. And I have written a book. Would you please come for my book launch? And I said, what's it all about? And she said, it's about my mother, whom I lost during the COVID crisis. And I penned down my thoughts and whatever came to my mind. I said, it's wonderful. I mean, I'll certainly try and make it. And the fact that I think the first gentleman did talk about, everyone has parents. And they are one people When you're young, you rebel. You don't like anything that they want you to do. As you grow up and as you become a parent, that is when you realize that these are the parents who will give the right hand for your good, for your benefit, or for your good anytime. And yes, and I think the first person did speak about the mother whom you lost by Alzheimer's. I have a mother. She is 88, and she had a brain stroke last year. And I've been seeing her. Yes, she still recognizes me and a whole lot of other people. But the kind of active life that she led. And I have a very, very active father. But he's down to his own domain. But my mother is one going on a bus, going on a plane. She's not one from a very, so to say, very big city or a very illustrious background, but she'll strike a conversation, find out everything about the person, strike a note, and maybe find out who common relatives, friends are. My father would travel for 4 or 5 hours and wouldn't even know who the person next door is. So yes, I was very close to my mother, and so I said it's a wonderful occasion, and whatever you've penned down, it's a great thing that you've penned down immediately after your mother's demise. And the thoughts that came to your mind, exactly what you've penned down, must be absolutely amazing. I really haven't gone through the book, but I'm sure that you've penned down, because with time, memory dissipates, and you tend to lose the inner feelings that were once a very much ingrained part of you. So what you've penned down, and I'm sure one would love to read the book. And I wish you the very best that you've come out with this book, and I'm sure that in the times to come also you'll pick up different topics that are close to you, that you felt very attached to, and you'll come up with many more books in the times to come. My very best wishes to you, and I pray that your mother's soul rests in peace. Thank you very much.
Am I audible enough? The house stays cold now, a chill that has settled in for the long haul. Are the walls colder, or are my bones? In Mom's presence, warmth was a constant, both inside the house and within me. Arriving at Mom's home and discovering its emptiness is an indescribably shattering experience. It's a heart-wrenching realization that the one constant source of comfort and love is no longer physically there. Each visit becomes a painful ritual as I call out to her repeatedly, almost expecting her familiar response, only to be met with a resounding echo. This unforeseen reality, where the once vibrant house now stands devoid of her presence, is a heartbreak that seems to deepen with every passing moment. Little did I anticipate that I would have to navigate this profound loss in my lifetime. Entering her room intensifies the emotional storm. Her bed seems as though she's merely stepped out, ready to return at any moment. I want to run and hug her tight. The remnants of her presence are everywhere. The fragrance lingering in her almirah, the personal items in her bathroom, and the meticulous orderliness of her kitchen. Even the cushioned seat she occupied while watching television exudes a haunting familiarity. Everything preserved just as she left it. I can't help but feel the void left by her by the absence of a soul. Despite the familiarity of her room, the scent of her aura, and the tangible remnants of daily life, the essence that once made the house a home has vanished. Every corner remains the same, frozen in time, except for her. Soaked in pain, I stare at the anomaly of life as the disbelief hangs in there, higher than anything else. This is a diary excerpt, 25th February 2023. In the grand theater of life, I meticulously honed my role, mastering the art of being a good person and embracing compassion. And after years of dedication, I became confident in my lead role. Yet, Just when I believed I was delivering an award winning performance, the director strode in with his favorite scissors, exclaiming, "Cut." My support cast was abruptly removed, leaving me alone on the stage, uncertain of what to do next. Under the harsh spotlight, I found myself unwilling to adapt to new characters, new dramas, and new stories. To the director of my play, somewhere up there, could someone please inform him that his story sucks? It's high time he stopped being so callous and chaotic. I implore him to cease the harassment just because I'm at his beck and call. Surely he's not a sadist, right? Then why not adopt a more holistic approach and create a happy world? Provide clear guidelines on how he wants me to navigate life, and I'll gladly comply. Spare me the agony of trying throughout my life. Focus on making your children happy, dear director. Next time, hand us only duties and functions, and consider keeping the feelings to yourself. Reincarnated multiple times, I must have undergone various birth cycles to grasp the lessons that ideally could be learned in just one or two existences. How slow am I to comprehend? Why didn't I grasp it the first time, compelling him to send me repeatedly? I bet each time I failed because of some lingering attachment or another. I presume this detachment must be a crucial topic in his curriculum. In a world where nothing remains permanent, even the most cherished possessions wear out. Who cares about the achievements and failures of this lifetime when nothing endures? I don't mean trivialities like career goals, but larger life goals, our values, and the principles of life. Does anyone keep track of whether I adhere to these principles or not? If there's someone up there maintaining a record book, where is the justice? Does my hard work pay off? Do my good deeds or neglect of them decide my future in this lifetime or the next? Is it already written and pre-decided as to how much effort I will put in? Because if my destiny is predetermined and everything is already pronounced, the system sounds sham. In that case, what kind of soul growth am I aiming for? If the extent to which my soul will grow and learn is also decided beforehand, then where are we headed?
Om Namah Shivaya. In the dark waters, alone and prepared for a unique journey, the boat rode to life, zooming forward. Once again, I witnessed the beauty of multiple ghats, all aglow with lights and resonating with music. Each ghat had its own distinctive color and music playing. Out of habit and his sense of duty, there was a constant stream of information in the background, with the boatman explaining the significance of the various ghats. After about 10 minutes, the visibility of the Manikarnika Ghat grew, and the boat guy's voice gradually faded into the background as I became entranced by the unfolding scene ahead. From a few hundred meters away, I could vividly see flames from the pyres rising into the unknown, transforming into smoke that disappeared forever. A profound stillness stared back at me. The silence was overwhelming, loud enough to drown out the sound of my own heart pounding. Every structure, once resembling a temple, now lay broken and blackened by time and neglect. At the beginning of the ghat stood a domed figure, half submerged in the dark waters, leaning forward as if welcoming the departed. I sat in front of the ghat in my boat, attempting to ensemble with the atmosphere. There was a warmth here, an eerie mundanity of the death permeating the entire place. Millions had been cremated here over nearly 900 years. Everything seemed gloomy and melancholic, conveying that death lingered here eternally, making no fuss about its constant presence. With smoke, the flames burned and the ashes flew. All of it enveloped me, on my clothes, my hair, and my skin. Not once did I shrug or feel the need to remove it in a hurry, ensuring nothing clung to me quite literally and metaphorically. I had no fear today. All my life, I feared contamination, adhering to countless rituals to counteract the lingering energies from the cremation grounds. I had subjected everyone in my house to my superstitions, only to keep all this away. The memories from my past stood before my eyes, mocking me and my lame attempts to control this temporality of life. Today I found myself on the other side, more dead than alive. How can I remove these ashes from me? I belong here. Next chapter, titled, It's One of the Most Beautiful Yet Mysterious Truths About Life. I was once asked, what if, with the help of modern science, a clone of my mother was made? One who looked and talked just like her, with the same skin color and texture, every wrinkle on her body identical and programmed with all my childhood and adulthood memories. Would having her back make my grief vanish? I stayed quiet for a moment, absorbing this bizarre thought. It was a query I had never faced before. I shut my eyes and tried to envision a scenario where a clone of my mother, indistinguishable in appearance and voice, stood beside me. She smelled like her, laughed like her, and the softness of her hand was identical. For a brief second, I smiled, feeling her presence, then abruptly opened my eyes. Without engaging in a dialogue with myself, I exclaimed, no, that's not her. The core isn't her, the soul isn't her. So how can she be Mom? Reluctantly, a realization dawned on me that day. No matter how ignorant we are of our soul's presence, in the day-to-day busyness of life, at the core, we operate only from that focal point, relating, loving, and connecting only to the soul. It's never about the body, but the soul of the person we love. We often camouflage ourselves with the physical body, enclosed in the illusionary matter of the physical world. We overlook the simple and evident knowing of the soul's presence in everything from birth to death. It's one of the most beautiful yet mysterious truths about life, that every piece of information that floats around us is in the form of naked truths or pure energies. We need to be open to receiving and tapping deeper into that unknown. Om Namah Shivaya.
Preparation takes time. Attachment is the root cause of all misery. Our attachment to life, family, money, pets, houses, cars, and more persists despite the undeniable reality that nothing truly belongs to us forever. What was once ours will eventually pass to someone else generations down the line. Through the process of procreation, generation after generation, we ensure our wealth passes to family members. However, what if the next generation doesn't plan for their offspring, as I did? My wealth and possessions will inevitably belong to someone unrelated to me in the future. I can't be stressed about it even after I'm gone. We have little control over our lives, yet we become entangled with materialistic possessions. This is also a form of attachment. If one has earned wealth through hard work, it is essential to enjoy it now, share it with family, and lead a comfortable life. While savings are prudent, they should not dictate our lives, compelling us to live a deprived existence when we can afford a more luxurious one. There's no guarantee that the compromises made for the sake of children will ensure they benefit from the accumulated wealth after their parents are gone. In life, there are no guarantees. Few of us are content with the prospect of living a secluded life. We arrive alone and depart in solitude. But in the interim, we crave togetherness. The ultimate truth, it appears, is to detach. So, why subject ourselves to a lifetime of torment? When one member leaves, others often find their lives disrupted. As more leave, the remaining individuals continue to suffer. It is excruciating when life confronts us with this truth. Perhaps it's time to prepare ourselves for this inevitability. One way or another, we will all come to learn this in our lifetime. We must start disentangling our true selves from dependencies on people or things we believe we cannot live without. We openly talk about vacations, retirement plans, financial goals, and future aspirations with our loved ones. But we tend to avoid the one inevitable reality, death. How many of us consider it important to discuss death with family at the dining table? Despite being the ultimate truth we will all face sooner or later, it is often sidestepped in conversations. It falls upon those who feel more mature and closer to the reality of life, whether parents or children, to bring up this topic regularly. Discussing death not only familiarizes individuals with this inescapable truth, but also helps in coping when it eventually becomes a reality. Unfortunately, it's the one thing we avoid, possibly due to superstition or a reluctance to confront it. It's essential to pay attention when parents talk about this reality because it is unavoidable. Personally, I delayed accepting this truth whenever my dad or mom brought it up. However, staying emotionally prepared can only be beneficial. While the pain may not lessen when death occurs, being emotionally prepared might make the process a bit more bearable. While the burden of disengaging ourselves from everything and everyone rests on our shoulders, I wonder why our education system overlooks the importance of teaching detachment as a life skill. In modern progressive schools, shouldn't this be an integral part of our learning? Why is text learning often disconnected from reality? There needs to be a moment in life when we allow the actuality of detachment to sink in. Preparation takes time, so we should cultivate the habit of reminding ourselves of it. It's about how effectively we train ourselves to live with preconditions to everything and attachment to nothing. People whose souls exhibit minimal attachment to family and worldly possessions are born spiritually evolved. However, our limited perspective often labels them as heartless, less driven, or unsocial beings. The measurement of karmas transcends our conventional understanding. It's not a simplistic equation of good deeds yielding positive outcomes or earning an A plus on our cosmic report cards each time we extend a helping hand. True growth of the soul is intricately linked to our detachment from life itself, starting with our own. While acts of kindness and generosity are commendable, they are not the sole metrics of soul evolution. My only truth, and this one really captured my attention. Next to my bed, there's a glass window, and often I engage in telepathic conversations with the moon or the stars before drifting off to sleep. One night, as I lay down and let my thoughts wander, I noticed a familiar star. It doesn't appear every night, but often around 4 in the morning. Or maybe I don't get to witness its beauty every night. The star stands out due to its larger size and enhanced visibility. It feels remarkably close to the Earth, both in size and proximity. In these quiet moments, the star's glow feels like it goes beyond my window, creating a special connection. During that conversation, I dozed off, only to wake up to the intense rays of the scorching sun. Getting up on the same side of the bed, facing the window, I noticed the star had been replaced by the sun. Initially, I thought the star had disappeared and tried to go back to sleep. However, a voice in my head suddenly prompted me to gaze back at the sky, even against the blinding sun. What if the star is still there, but the intense light of the sun obscures its discernibility? Maybe the star's presence isn't solely dependent on its visibility. Thank you. Thank you for your patience and attention to the excerpts that we just read. I'd also like to open the house for any comments, remarks, any questions that you might want to ask Chetna.
Chetna, why don't you spend a little more time just giving an insight into your relationship, into your mom, which got you actually to write this? Why am I saying it's important is there was something uniqueness about it. And was that something in you? Or was that something your mom taught you? Or was that something which came by way of realization over the time that you were tending to her during her last few stages? So just tell us about that.
As mentioned, I was there with mom throughout. I kind of I got married, but I still wasn't married because I would, continue, stay close by. So I would continue to have a similar lifestyle. With just more than mom, I was dependent on her. She wasn't. She was very independent. And after that, I just felt that, it was completely my thing that I have to spend more time with her because her loss was, something that cannot be defined. She lost a friend philosopher guide after that. So I started spending more time with her. And then actually, honestly speaking, initially throughout my, my mid-20s, I was a normal, ambitious child, But gradually, I kind of, without realizing why it was happening, I kind of took away from career thing. I would do something once in a while, some short stint, job stint, some article writing, something I would keep doing freelance. Because I just felt that, the world is there where my mom is. All these things are just around it, I can work, I can not work. It's like up to me. So I've also gone outstation for smaller job stints. That's not the scene that time. That was there. So, it's not that I was so insecure. But saying now when I've gone back and written in my book, I have mentioned that I think I had this sense of insecurity vis-a-vis mom ever since I was a child. I was very young. Since then, I think all children cling on to their mothers, and mothers are special as compared to fathers. Of course, they are also special, but I also felt it was. I would not like to title it abnormal, but it was slightly more than the normal. It kind of crossed border. And it coming from mom, she was extremely balanced. For it wasn't that I was the youngest, so her love was more towards me. I think she, is the epitome of balance. She has balanced her love to all three daughters of hers, and at the equal portion. So it wasn't from her side. Her side, she was like a typical mom. It was definitely from my side, which there was some insecurity, in which I have mentioned in my book. It could be a something lingering from somewhere, past life or whatever. But yes, I also felt it was a little different. So I have been on my toes throughout, even when she was not ill, and I didn't have to take care of her. It was only in the last 2.5 years when she was on dialysis. That time, yes, I had to take care of her, but otherwise, mom was very independent. But I had to cling to her due to my insecurities.
Thank you for your question. Anybody else who'd like to put across your thoughts?
In the beginning, you mentioned about inappropriate grief when you started talking. Why do you call it inappropriate, and do you think it is relevant today also?
No, I called it inappropriate from others' point of view, not mine. If everyone felt I was crossing borders of normalcy, and I was just not ready to move on, and something I did not understand what is exactly moving on. I really couldn't, maybe, and I was completely okay about it, and that's why I just didn't want to leave my grief. After mom, that became my favorite person or thing, entity.
Do you feel you're in a better place today, or is it still the same and as intense?
Better place? I don't know. I think maybe I couldn't express a year ago. Now I can talk about it, and I'll start crying maybe after half an hour of talking about it. Earlier, I would just cry at the drop of a hat. And maybe that's the difference.
Okay.
Thank you. First of all, I agree with you completely. Writing is therapy. It's cheaper therapy than having a therapist. So it's good therapy. I'm just wondering, and this is just a thought, doesn't require any response, but just a thought. If your mother had the final chapter in your book, what do you think she'd want to say to the world?
Oh, okay. Mom, as a person, was so mature and so positive that, she definitely would have been who would have said that, move on. Life doesn't stop here. She would have said that for sure. If it was even the last chapter in this particular book, That's the suggestion she would have given me. Knowing her, she was not somebody who would hold on to things and just, not move ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Daisy.
Chetna, very beautifully written.
Thank you.
And I can feel every word of what you've written. Just wanted to ask you one thing. Have you been able to find that detachment?
Detachment?
Yes.
No. I also mentioned that it has to start from here first. Maybe that level of detachment has somewhere down happened. I am particularly not attached to any other thing any longer. The way I used to cling on to a lot of things. Now I don't. But getting detached from her memories,
No, that is not.
that's not possible. Yeah.
Memories are a bliss of solitude.
That's a blessing.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'd like to mention one thing. There are a few people in this group who are a mention in the book as well. They have played, a certain role in that particular last 2 years period.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for engaging with us. And to culminate this occasion, we also have a special performance. This is by Dr. LV. He's from Shillong and he's a very dear friend of the family. And he has graciously accepted the offer. This is dedicated to all the mothers, and it's a special performance. And I'd like to invite Dr. LV to please come here. Unfortunately, because of the IHC rules, we will not be able to hand over the mic to you. You'll have to perform without the mic. Thank you.
I was to do this. Chetna and Siddharth are like family. Chetna is the first time we've met each other. Also, we've been talking before, so as in a meeting with someone for the first time. Siddharth is like a brother to me, so the first thing he said that he would have to come for an event because this is a long-standing from you. And I thought maybe what better way to represent their way, and this time it's my second time. And yeah, so Chetna thought, actually Siddharth said it, no ways, I'm not going to do this. Because I'm known for, going to family events and suddenly I'm singing something or the other. And I'm not a professional singer anyway, mostly the kind of singer that likes to stick with the guitar and let's just sing and have some fun. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So a couple of songs with Chetna. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you for this very special day, for what you've done. It takes a lot of courage to open up yourself to the rest of the world, about your feelings and emotions, and also lost someone in life. And I think this is a beautiful way, and I hope you enjoy what you've written and probably carry that to be the long way journey forward. So she's requested this song. I'm not very good at Hindi, though I try. So in case my pronunciation is a little messy, please don't judge. And if you know the song, please do join me. This is more like a dedication to our mothers and for the love that I have. I think it's a song called Mama by Kailash Kher. So let's see.
Thank you, Dr. LV, for this lovely song, and also the ode to all mothers. Thank you all for being here on this afternoon. I am repeating myself like a stuck record, but it's a blistering heat, 48 degrees centigrade, and huge traffic, crazy traffic even on Sunday on Delhi roads. So thank you all for being with us and supporting Chetna. Now the event is over, except for the main part, that the book is available in Amazon. And I would suggest that if you find there are people who read this kind of book, you can recommend them. The book is available in Amazon. And like Sir, you said, the author is available here for signing the copies. So, and there is a light refreshment. So we thank you once again. Thank you so much. Chetna, may I ask you to